This is a Zen garden that's inside my painting museum, and I have the fog, I think, turned down to its lowest setting at the moment. And I don't come in here a whole lot. It doesn't have a purpose. It's a really cool area to kind of look into from the other exhibits in the museum. But other than that, there's not a reason to come here, except in this little Zen garden area. There's these little stone, little gravel, rock garden things on the edges, and in this one, right behind this rock, there's a little secret inlet. And if I put some water in there, it activates a boat switch. And that's something that was only really possible in alpha. I mean, you could make this happen in modern with observers or something like that, but the specific way that we do this, I'll just show you. You've probably seen something like this before, but check this out, okay? The water comes down here, it goes into this little chamber, that boat gets lifted up, and it's lifted off of those pressure plates, which means it's not activating these redstone lines. So what does this actually do? It opens up iron doors that are behind these paintings, because I can't have a painting museum without a secret entrance. Anyway, both of them open. So I've been digging this really deep spiral staircase. I was inspired by House of Leaves, as I mentioned, to make a really deep spiral staircase. And it does actually go somewhere, not at the moment, but it will. This is a pretty cool structure, and it doesn't even feel boring to go down. I like it. I never really get a look at it with the fog on, but I'm going to turn it off now. Yeah, it goes all the way to here. That's how deep it goes. And I've just been doing a lot of digging, a little bit anticlimactic. There's nothing down here yet. I wanted to put a big underground library, and I've been digging it out and kind of planning out where I want pillars and things like that to go. I have a lot more digging to do than this. I had ideas for designs. I'm inspired to do this by probably my favorite old Minecraft video of all time. It isn't actually that old, but it's by Gory Oregon, and it's this amazing underground library build. I recommend you guys all check it out. It's still my favorite of all time. Anyway, there's something cool at the end of this tunnel. I was digging, and I busted into this cave, but this cave is like really different than other caves. You know what I mean? Look at this, it's just a thin little tunnel, and then we come into here, and then look, a prize at the end. I haven't gotten it yet. But caves aren't supposed to be this thin, not before the cave changes in 1.18. The reason this happens is there's a bug in older Minecraft versions where cave systems would just be cut off at the chunk boundaries. They would try to stretch into a new chunk boundary, but then that chunk would not generate the cave. So in this case, it's a normal cave, but then this chunk didn't generate the cave, and it's just barely cut off. So you have this kind of like really thin tunnel area. And that actually happens quite frequently in cave systems. You come across it a lot if you're caving in old Minecraft. It's not a huge deal, but it is just kind of a bug. Anyway, that's not the real reason I stopped digging down here. The real reason is that my inventory is full, and the chest that I dump all the stone into is full. I'm working on a lot of different things around my world at the same time. Working on this one at the moment has the benefit of giving me a lot of cobblestone, and that's always nice to have. Like, most of the things in my world are actually made of cobblestone. Not really this build, but all the other ones are. I'm working on a tree farm back towards the spawn point, and another garden kind of thing. That requires a lot of stone, and while I'm over there building it, I'll harvest the logs as they grow back. When I run out of stone, I'll bring all the logs over here, work on this. Then I'll dig it all up, bring that stone to the tree farm, build again, take the logs to here. It's kind of a symbiotic build relationship. It's kind of nice. Just realized I forgot to get the water back from the thing. I'll just leave it open, who cares? I have a little bit of flint up here. I literally have no use for this. Found a lot of diamonds down there, which is nice. Anyway, this is all the stone that I got from digging. I'm gonna fill up my inventory full of this stuff, and we're gonna haul it all the way back to World Spawn. Which way should I go? Let's go on the boat road. The sun's coming up. Let's just wait. Let's wait for the sun. Hungry. I'm a hungry guy. Look, now you can kind of see the statue that I built when I was delirious with fever. Wonder how it looks when you're on the Eats Road here. I really like this view. This is one of my favorite views because it looks like this Eats Road just kind of extends into the sun. You know what I mean? Anyway. The day that I release this video should be after Halloween, but right now, as I'm recording, it is the day before. I've been working a lot on the script for what was supposed to be a Halloween video essay kind of thing, but man, it just takes so long. It keeps becoming a larger and larger project, so I don't know when that's going to come out, unfortunately. But it will. But you know what's really scary is that I just made a cup of mushroom tea, and it really just kind of tastes like a wood chip covered with dirt. It's not very good. I don't know. I bought it because I never had a mushroom tea. I know mushroom things are popular, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really care for it that much. Still drinking it though. Here we go. But seriously, one of the things I actually kind of wanted to talk about, I've never talked about it. I've never gotten to talk about this. A few years ago, I made... Oh, this sheep's going to be... Oh, traffic jam. Bow, bow. That didn't work. Huh, fine, I guess I'll just walk. A few years ago, I made a video called The Last Beta Player. And it got, like, semi-popular. It was a short film. I'm not really going to explain what it's about, but I'm still pretty proud of it. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. I mean, I kind of think I could have done better sometimes, but I liked it. I still like it. I think it told a good story. When I was younger, I used to look at like YouTube ARGs, think Marble Hornets, Along Came Josh, that kind of stuff. I was really fascinated with that kind of thing. And then, you know, when I got older and when I made this short film, I just kind of realized that most of them weren't very good. I guess, and most of them were actually just kind of geared towards children, which, I mean, I was a child when I enjoyed them. But I still thought there was a cool, scary story that could be told in old Minecraft, you know? And I tried to tell that story. I tried to make a story that I would want to watch. So that's what that was. And I think it turned out okay. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't crazy. Well, anyway, I want to say nearly a year after that released and had such a nice reception, I wanted to make another short film. It wouldn't be a sequel to Last Beta Player because that doesn't need a sequel, but it would be another spooky film. And this one, the idea, creation, and the script writing for this worked a lot differently than The Last Beta Player. The Last Beta Player, I basically got the idea for that film all at the same time. I kind of just struck me like what I wanted to make. Whereas this one, I slowly got the feel for it over time, what I wanted it to be about. But I kept thinking of new ways to tell the story and make it more interesting. And that slowly over time made me kind of drop the whole project. The elements just kept getting more and more complex, and I was not able to figure out a way to make all the factors and all the things I wanted in it fit together, if that makes sense. So it might come out, I might restructure the whole thing and turn it into something like a little bit simpler. But I figured if you guys don't mind spoilers, I'd just talk about it. I'd spend this kind of Halloween-y video going into what the film would have been about, some of the stuff I would have covered. I don't want to go into it too much, but I'll just talk about it. You know, and the thing is, it's not the only one. I think I had ideas for two other films. One of them I actually do want to make, but I'm mainly going to talk about this short film, which I referred to in my own notes as The Last Beta Player 2, not because it was a sequel, but just because I didn't have a name for it yet. I forgot I left all these in here. Oops. Before I talk about any of that, because I kind of got to get my thoughts together, let me just show you what I've been trying to build here. So this is going to be the interior of the tree farm. I'm going to fill in this spot and make it into a pool. Up here, you're going to be able to walk around. See, this whole thing, it's grown quite a lot, more than I expected it to. And because of that, it's really kind of butting up against this tree farm here. And I don't want to tear this one down. It's the first thing I built in this world was this tree farm. I don't want to tear it down. Here's the thing, in a lot of my old Minecraft worlds, I would build stuff in the beginning of the world and I'd have it for a long time, and then I would tear it down and get rid of it to make room for something else. And I hate doing that because I always regret it. I always regret not having the history, like keeping the history of my world. And also, it's hard to change stuff that's been a certain way for a long time. It might feel weird. I was gonna make another point, I don't remember what it was. I felt like I should just keep all my old builds, you know, but this is really, really cutting it close. And that's kind of a rough realization that I've had to make this larger build work. Like, this is just the interior wall. I don't know how big the exterior wall is going to be, so I might have to shore this up somehow. This tower, I really like it, but I'm wondering if I just need to relocate the entire thing, you know? It really sucks, because it's really nice here. Maybe I could incorporate it into this new building or something. I don't know. I don't like trading builds. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. I like having my cakes and eating it too and all that. A little hard for me to build and talk at the same time, but I'm going to try. Here's the thing about making a short film, or at least for me. I want it to be plausible. You know, I want it to be maybe not plausible, maybe not even feasible, but I want it to feel real. I don't want it to be like, oh, there's another dimension and it's invading the world through Minecraft and you have to sacrifice your childhood best friend's Mojang account to Microsoft to save the world. I don't know, something like that. Whatever they are about these days, I don't follow any of that, but it's just, I want it to be real, okay? I want to feel like the film has weight, like there's something realistic to it. The other thing that I wanted, that I thought I accomplished really well with the last beta player, I wanted there to be a character that's in this film, and you know it's a guy, but you don't really know a whole lot about him. I mean, you know, you could probably relate to who he is, but who this person is could be you. It could be anybody. Now that sounds cheesy, but I did it. I feel like I did it really well in the last beta player. Reason being, if you didn't watch it, the protagonist is actually, his face is cut off the entire time. You can see him, so it does tell you that there is a human behind the screen, and that's not something a lot of Minecraft short films really do. That's kind of a choice I've never really seen before. I'm out of stone again. Quick way down. I wonder how this looks. But I never had the character talk. At any point in the film, he never said a word. What do we think about this window? I feel like I definitely want to fill the window in with glass because it'll make it feel more solid, but I think I need to move that up some a little bit. But I want to have that kind of same thing for this next film. Not quite totally the same. So my idea was you hear the guy, but you never see him. He talks. You can't figure out a whole lot about what this guy is or like what he is after or whatever. But there is a main character and he is going through something and it is strange. I wanted this film to be even more grounded than the previous one. The previous one was like, the whole idea is that it could be supernatural, but it also couldn't be. It could be supernatural, but a lot of the scary stuff that happened is based off of like old bugs. So there's plausible deniability up until the last kind of moments of the film. And this film in particular, there'd be nothing supernatural. I mean, I wasn't planning on incorporating anything supernatural. I wanted it to be all just events that happened, which I guess is not normal for Minecraft scary films. I'm upfront with my films being films, and the fact that I am allows me to have a little bit more artistic license, especially with something like the beginning intro of the last beta player. I feel like that was really iconic because C4 music is really good, and also other scary Minecraft content, old Minecraft content things, they're not going to do that because they want to try to sell you that it's real. That's part of the fun. I find that kind of lame, in my opinion. I mean, I liked it when I was a kid, I guess. I don't know. Basically, this film is like a guy who is going through the metaphorical 7 circles of Dante's hell through Minecraft. Kind of, not really. That's like a cheap way to explain it. I wanted this guy to be a dude who is a hobbyist, someone who collects old computers, that kind of thing. He collects old PCs and old technology. He's into that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people who are like that, so it's pretty plausible that someone would be into that sort of thing. Anyway, this guy works at a pawn shop, and there's always been a PC or like this old computer that's been kind of at the back of the storage. It doesn't really sell, so the boss or the owner doesn't put it at the front because it's a piece of crap. And the guy who works at this pawn shop, he's our main character. I don't have a name for him or anything. He occasionally would use his paycheck, or he would buy old computers and old tech from the pawn shop that comes in. And he always kind of wanted that other computer, but the boss was either hesitant to sell it, or maybe the guy just didn't like want to buy it until recently, or didn't see it until recently. I don't know. Anyway, he recently acquires this old computer and he goes through it. He's like one of those internet archaeologist types. He likes to go and look for old things, like an archivist. There's some people who do that, who buy like old camcorders and old tapes and like upload family home video to Internet Archive. There's actually a massive repository of family home videos on Internet Archive if you haven't seen them. This guy likes to do that kind of thing, sort of. So he gets his computer, he boots it up, and he sees it's got a lot of files on it. He starts transferring it over to his computer. Then he finds out that the owner of this previous computer really liked modding old Minecraft, I guess. I wasn't sure how I was going to make this part fit together. I haven't really thought a whole lot about it. There's a lot of world saves on this PC that he found. So he starts playing them and he starts recording them. He's just like, oh, I found this, I'm going to record it, da 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 da. Nothing crazy. And as he looks at these worlds, they're old Minecraft worlds, they're random old versions. They don't take place with any specific version. Some of them are like beta 1.3, some of them is like alpha 1.2.6, I don't know. He looks at these old worlds. He starts looking at some of these old worlds. Some of them aren't interesting, but some of them are really just kind of strange. Almost like this guy was, I don't know, a map maker. And he keeps finding stuff within these old saves that he's found on the computer that really are just different. And I had a lot of ideas for worlds he would find. In fact, he would start to find stuff that wasn't in the base game. And so the guy would theorize like, oh, he was a modder, he was on the Mojang team, whatever, I don't know, who cares. At first, the stuff that seems really out of place could be explained. There's an old mob in the beta 1.7.3 mob files called Monster. It's just called Monster. It's not a zombie, it's not a skeleton. It is actually a Steve skin that's hostile. And that's it. It makes no noises. I don't think it makes any noises. It doesn't really have a very complex AI. It stays completely still and kind of like looks around until it sees you. Then it will just slowly shuffle towards you and try to kill you. That's all it is. This doesn't spawn in the main game. You have to use mods to get it in. And it makes it really fascinating. So he was going to encounter that, not really know what he was looking at, but figure it out eventually, but perhaps, maybe not. Though at one point, when things were going to start getting really strange, I had a world planned out where he was going to open it up. It's kind of like something that's guiding his movement, so it's like a corridor or something. He's walking down the corridor, goes into like a garden area, and then he gets into the center of the garden, and he's got the fog on, and as he sees, and then slowly out of the fog approaches little gnomes. This is going to sound really weird to you guys, but little gnomes start approaching him very slowly. And then they just start attacking him, and then they kill him because he gets swarmed by them. And he just finds this kind of odd. This is just one of the parts that I wanted to put in the film, but here's the thing with that. I actually worked with some retro modders to make that possible. We made a mod that adds gnomes to the game. I created a gnome model. It is a mod in the game now. Doesn't that window look weird? I feel like that part should be stone, not cobblestone. And then it'll be more interesting, I guess. So we actually did get kind of far into the prep, like getting the resources together to make this happen. The guy I was working with created an entire mod that would allow me to have like filmmaker's tools within beta, like special blocks that would manipulate mobs and other things that would help me kind of create like movie magic, you know? It was a really cool thing. And I think he was going to make it public someday. I don't think he has. He might have already, but I have a fork of it that's got more stuff. This guy was going to continue to find strange stuff. You, as the audience listening, would find out over time that the guy who previously owned this computer was like, I don't know, Terry Davis for Minecraft, okay? And that's kind of a big thing to try to pull off, which is why this film was hard to write. And not only that, but he's kind of like an evil Terry Davis. I mean, you could make your arguments, but this guy is like a malicious Terry Davis kind of character. He finds out at one point that in his careless dumping of old files into his computer, he downloaded some script or something. And this script constantly pings his real life location where his computer physically is and sends it to this channel that can be read by somebody, and he doesn't know where it's going or who's looking at his real life location or why anybody would even want it. He gets a little freaked out. Like, this is a freaky thing to find out, that your location has been directly tracked and sent to someone else's computer for the better course of, I don't know, however long he's been doing this. Strange things start happening to this guy. In real life, he gets more paranoid. Thing is, I don't want him to talk a lot. I want his performance to be more subtle. And here's the other thing. It would be me. You know, I wouldn't really want to get another actor for this. But the thing is that I'm not really good. I don't think I'm a good actor. The last beta player was all body language, and I can do that. I've been learning how to do that since I was a kid. Never been really good at displaying emotions properly, so I've always had to practice, if that makes sense. Like, oh, this is when you laugh. This is when you show gratitude. This is when you show sadness, that kind of thing. So that kind of stuff, learning those skills helped me figure out how to act in like the last beta player. And I think most people seem to really think it was a good job. Like it wasn't too much. It wasn't overdoing it, which is what I wanted. But in this case, I would have to voice this guy. And people who watch my videos have been listening to me talk for a long time. So I feel like it would break the immersion a little bit, which is tough. I'm just not like a very expressive person. Never really have been. It's something my girlfriend complains about a lot, and my mother. Something that I haven't told you about the film yet is that you're seeing all this footage intercut with like ring camera footage, home security footage of strange stuff, other pieces from this guy's computer, texts, photos of his workplace, things like that. The reason you're seeing it like this is because the recordings that this dude has made, the voiceovers, the images, the screenshots, the surveillance footage, all of that, it's all part of a massive case file. The case file for why this guy went missing. So it's all part of the evidence that the police have kind of just collected. And either it would be just a showcase of all the evidence and all of it kind of cut together for a film. Like, I don't know, like Blair Witch. No, that's a bad comparison. Or it'd be his friend trying to figure out what happened, and he requested the evidence from the cops based off of a FOIA request, like a Freedom of Information Act kind of thing. I don't really know how that works, though, so I would have to do some research. I don't think it would ever really be revealed who the guy who owned the computer previously was. I think it would be hinted at, and you would just, as an audience, you'd have to kind of look for clues throughout the film, or like draw your own conclusions, especially about what happened to this guy. But yeah, there's a lot more to it. I even talked to people about composing a film score for it, but now I think if I were to make it now, I wouldn't have any music at all, except for the intro. The intro would be awesome. I think at one point through one of these little adventure maps they got from the computer, he would have cheated. Like he would have cheated. He would have gone into creative, or he would have busted out of the map, or broken kind of the honor system that you're supposed to follow when you're doing adventure maps before adventure mode was added. And he would get a random message from somewhere telling him that, like, I saw that you cheated, or like God hates cheaters, just something really Terry Davis-esque. I thought that could be kind of funny. I mean, it's not supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be creepy, but it's funny to me on the outside. Tossed all those slabs down there, I can't believe it. Such a screw up, can't believe this happened. So yeah, I don't know if I explained everything correctly. I definitely didn't give all the details. I mean, I know that if I had tried to explain the last beta player, which I guess I did with the director's commentary thing, which was really fun to do, by the way. But if I had tried to explain that before I had made it to people, they would have thought I was stupid. They would have thought it was stupid, and they would have thought I was stupid. And some people probably still think that, but I don't know. You have to let me cook a little bit with that one. There's so many details to the film. There's so many layers of complexity. You're gleaning the story of the schizophrenic antagonist guy through this other dude trying to figure out his story, but it's actually the story of that guy going missing, which is being put together by his friend or an agent from like FBI case file. It's very ambitious. I don't know if I've conveyed that properly. There's a lot going on. Just noticed I haven't drank my tea in a while. Still tastes like dirt. I think that looks a little better. A little better. It's hard to tell here because I wanted these to have like cross beams going across, and those beams were slightly lower than these ones. But maybe they should really just be the same height. You know what I mean? That's kind of a tough one. Been kind of thinking I need to like redo this entire roof structure, plan it out, make it a little bit more complex. Let's get a look at it from the distance, and maybe it'll be cool. I'm kind of curious how it looks on the outside with the new windows. I have other notes on this, like, oh, something bad in his life happens every time he cheats in the maps, and this is one of the things that starts to make him kind of paranoid. Maybe the schizophrenic guy was trying to make his own whole like version of Minecraft, but over time whatever was in this nutjob's real life that was affecting him, he was putting it into the game, kind of projecting it maybe. I don't know. I have some stuff in here that makes no sense. Water dripping from ceiling into bucket. Over time, bucket becomes full. Oh, wait. Yeah, I know what that was for. That was originally I was planning on having a camera for the main character, and you would see like he's not living in the best conditions, and the bucket would just fill up over the time of recording. But I don't know. That's a really stupid idea. It's kind of hard to tell what that looks like from here. Okay, let's get closer. Oh yeah, this is Spawn Garden, which I'm also working on and restructuring constantly. I had an idea for a monster, an entity, that would be in all the maps. Hey, look, there's a clay right here. And the guy would just keep running into it. And the thing about the entity, it's not like a broken script mod thing or like an ARG monster, because those are just, what they're like squiggly lines, because apparently low effort children's artwork is scary. I don't know. The entity would be more like some kind of abstract shape or something. Anyway, he'd just keep running into it, and then after he runs into it, his game would crash, and he'd be like, what is this thing? You know, just like looking at it. And it'd be kind of like symbolism almost, rather than something to be scary. It'd be sort of like foreboding, like you don't want to run into this thing. It's like a bad omen almost. And realistically, it was just this guy who was creating these mods and these maps. He was just adding this creature to it, and we don't know why he was doing that. It just kind of sounds stupid. I had a entire like document written down about what the different levels and maps he was going to find were going to be like. But there's some stuff in here I'm going to keep to myself in case I actually do end up making this, which is, I don't know, it's like unlikely. Especially with what I'm doing now. I'm making all these videos, which makes it kind of difficult to put time into other stuff, I guess. But it's a learning curve. Maybe I'll get better at time management later on. See, that looks okay. I need to have pillars on the outside of this thing that correspond with the interior pillars. I'm thinking of like a buttress, you know what I mean? A very steeply sloped pillar between here. No flying buttresses though, because a flying buttress will just make this hard to look at from the distance. It'd look messy, maybe? I don't know. It's hard to figure out what I want here. I'm not sure if I even like the cobblestone. I just can't get a very nice slope for the window, unfortunately. There's no upside down stairs or anything, because if there was, I probably would have put it there. And I can't put stairs there anyways, because stairs that have blocks on top of them turn into whole blocks. Let me experiment a little bit. Maybe I could try something interesting. This very likely won't work just because of direction stuff. You may know this, but the stairs direction is inherited from the blocks around it, not by the way that you place it. So it doesn't really matter what direction I'm facing when I put it down. See? Oh, hey, look, if I do it in that order, I get that sort of shape. So like that, then like that. Okay. Wonder how to look if I put them down here as well. Just want to make the window more interesting, you know? That's kind of cool. It's interesting, I guess, but I don't know if that's what I'm looking for here. I do want to have glass blocks. I think just putting glass blocks there instead and leaving it open would help a lot with how it looks. But I hope I made sense to you explaining that whole film idea. I know it's maybe kind of a strange thing. I have a lot of other ideas for other films. I really would like to make them. The thing is if I did that, I would probably just have to take a break from doing these. But yeah, let me know what you think, if you think anything about it. I would actually be very curious to hear what you guys have to say. I've never shared any of that with anybody, ever. Not even the guy who made the gnome mod for me. I didn't even tell him what it was going to be about. So, yeah, please let me know what you think. Okay, here's something you might find even more horrifying. I finished the tea, and then I went and got some ice cream. I don't need a lot of ice cream, but this is an ice cream brand that I like. It's made with honey. It's called Ice Cream for Bears. I like bears. In particular, this one is the pumpkin spice one. I don't ever have anything pumpkin spice. Never, ever, ever, never, ever. I don't know, I saw it, I'm like, maybe, you know, a lot of people like pumpkin spice stuff. I should probably just try it. Maybe it's good. So, you know, it's okay. My favorite one from them is the coffee, the one with little coffee chips in it, but it's kind of late for that. But yeah, that's a little scary thing is that I'm eating pumpkin spice ice cream. Anyway, I tried slabs on that side for the window instead of cobblestone, and that looks a lot better. The thing is that I didn't want to overuse slabs because I already use them so much in this build, but I think that looks a lot better than this. The cobblestone wasn't really working for me. Plus, the walls between the pillars down here are slabs, so it's not a huge stretch that these would also be slabs. Now, I really don't like this roof, and the thing is, it was so hard to kind of put together because it's in the air. Perhaps if I had a lot of miniature arches between each link instead of straight pillars, it'd look a lot better. Also, the other thing over here that I am kind of trying to figure out is this pathway. Because I had this lined out for the longest time, but to make these pillars fit, I had to extend this room a little bit, like this. And that leaves kind of a lot of empty space here, so I'm not sure what to do with it. Maybe I'll put other little designs here, or something like that. Let's try it. Oop, there goes my pickaxe. Yeah, maybe if I do something like this, or something, it'll make it look a little nicer. Yeah, maybe. And then I have this path that's going to be a hallway that leads to, I don't know, other rooms. Here's the other dilemma, okay? I want you to be able to get into this pool, because it's only going to be a few blocks deep. I want you to be able to come in through there. There's going to be a hole right there that you can walk down to the pool in. That means that the entrance to the pool has to be probably like right here, and there has to be a staircase, but man, there's just no room. So I could do spiral stairs, but, I mean, yeesh, just a lot to think about. That's why I'm having ice cream. It was actually kind of growing on me a little bit. But that's the best thing I can do, is just think about it, keep it in my mind about what I want to do. Because the other thing I do over here is harvest trees, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, it is kind of growing on me a little bit. It's pretty good. Speaking of bears, many of you probably have heard of Voimma. It's a pretty cool game. It's not done yet. It has a massive scope of what it wants to be. You may have seen trailers for it. It's pretty cool. But I've actually kind of been following the development. It's a really cool idea. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch a trailer or something. It's a little sandbox game. It's got blocks, but the thing is it's not really a block game. There is no grid. You can place blocks anywhere. You can place any size block. You can change the size of the blocks. You can even just draw landscapes and crazy shapes. You can cut them, you can shape them, whatever. It's just neat. So what I didn't quite grasp when I first saw a trailer and like played it and got into the community a little bit, I thought it was just a bear-themed Minecraft that had a little more creative stuff to it. And that's not really true. The game is organized, I guess, into universes. The bear thing is the default universe. I didn't just say it's like a universe, it's the default. Because you could design your own sandbox game with its own physics, textures, creatures, items, behavior, whatever. You can create an entire sandbox within Voimma. You can modify the existing one if you want. And people have kind of done this already. It's interesting what people have made. But yeah, you can create and completely customize everything about it. You can make anything. I could recreate Minecraft within Voimma already. It's really interesting. Anyway, I think you guys should check it out. It is free. The demo is free right now. Multiplayer just came out. The game is still pretty buggy. It's still early on. Developers have been working on a solo for the longest time. But I think it's a very cool concept. And I want more people to support it, so I'm talking about it a little bit. Plus, the bears are really cute. I was kind of thinking at one point, like once it goes a little bit further along, I would try to make a little promotional for it because I really believe in the vision, you know, I think it's a cool idea. So I make like a short little video, say talking about how cool it is and what you can do in it and da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, check out Voimma on Steam. And it actually also has its own website. I'll put links in the description for it. What a mess. Oh my gosh. So I ended up tearing out the entire roof and rebuilding it. And that's kind of difficult to do because I kept having to run up there, kind of sneak around, break the blocks, come down here before they despawned, which I never was able to catch all of them, and then rebuilt this whole thing. The cross beams I'm kind of keeping, but I moved them all block upwards. I have these slopes here that go into those beams, and I think that makes it look a lot better. And that's filled with cobblestone. I tested squares here. It is kind of dark though, so I'm thinking of a way to light it up, but I'm actually just out of stone, completely out of cobblestone. So that means I need to make a run back to the library. I've been trying to make this all work. Trying to get that thing to merge into this thing is kind of messy. It's a lot to think about. I've definitely built and rebuilt this entire structure, if we take the whole Ship of Theseus approach, probably like 3 times. Like, tore out the whole thing, rebuilt it. 3 or 4, maybe. The only thing I never rebuilt was, I guess, that tube and that trough up there. Wait, I don't think that's even true. The tube at least, that's the part that is never changed. But yeah, I just made a harvest. So let's take it back. Hooray. I'm really wondering what to do, how to incorporate this to everything. It just seems, I feel like that's enough room to have a wall there. It looks kind of neat from over this side. I'm thinking that this tower, I might have to make some alterations to where the minecart track actually comes out. I might have to come up higher if I really wanted to get in there. You know what I mean? And I just had this idea, you know what'd be neat? If I did have to move that tower right there, it'd be neat if I stuck it in the middle next to the bridge or in the water. That'd be a good place for it. I wouldn't feel bad about moving it because that's actually kind of a cooler location. It's not a bad compromise, actually. Well, anyway, it is Halloween. I dressed up as myself and went nowhere. One of the last times I think I really ever dressed up for Halloween, gotta be over a decade ago. I was a big fan of Mario. I guess before I played Minecraft, Mario games were the only games that I played. I don't know. I guess I just was familiar with them, and my parents thought they were safe enough, so they bought them for me. So I was a big fan of Mario. Nintendo, please don't sue me for saying it. Anyway, I thought it'd be awesome if I dressed up as Mario for Halloween, because I really liked it, and it wasn't just something random, I guess. I got the costume. I was pretty happy to have it. I dressed up as Halloween, then I went to this big Halloween party with a bunch of other kids, and the other kids made fun of me so much. It was this one kid in particular went really hard into me. I think not because he thought I was a nerd, it was because he was a Sonic fan or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is a really confusing story. Heard a cow. You know, this thing has been acting off lately, but it's good to see some animals coming out of here. I don't know, I feel like it doesn't give me the same output that it used to, and I don't know why. Oh well. I got like made fun of so bad that I took it off. I'm like, Mom, I want to go home. I didn't wear it out to Halloween. I actually just wore nothing and went trick-or-treating. And the people would ask me, oh, like, where's your costume? And I'm like, oh, I'm just a kid in a sweatshirt this year. That was like the last time I ever dressed up as anything. So, yeah, I was trying to think of a scary story to tell people from my life, but you know, that wasn't really scary. It was just kind of sad. Oh god, okay. She needs to be bigger. She needs to be a lot bigger. Maybe I just need to build a bigger woman somewhere. Oh, you know what would be cool? Imagine like a woman over in them hills, and I just build her huge, you know, take full advantage of my height extension mod, just build her to the height limit, and she's kind of like shrouded in fog because it's far away. That would be very cool. That'd be a cool build, I think. I have a lot of ideas, you know. Show me. I'm gonna dump off these logs and get to work mining. This is how it goes. This is a day in the life of the alpha world, and a lot of the time when I'm on this, I'm usually got something going on my second monitor, but I kind of think that's bad for me. You know, I feel like it kind of messes up my ability to focus on what I'm trying to do, especially with more creative projects. I've been having a hard time figuring out what I wanted this library to actually look like on the interior. It's because I guess I always have something on when I'm trying to build it. That's okay, but I feel like I have the most fun when I put my full focus into the game and don't have anything else going. And I can kind of hear my own thoughts, you know? But I don't know why, there's just always something interesting to watch, I guess. Anyway. Ouch. So we dig. I don't know if I should have a hallway here or should I have it open up directly into a large library. Whatever it is, this project is definitely going to take a long time to finish. So here I mentioned before, these are the bases of pillars, and the pillars are going to be really, really tall. I'm trying to make a circle out of them. So I have 4 lined out. I have room for 4 lined out, and I need 8 more, I think. Yeah, about 8 more. That's going to be a lot of digging. I have a quarry, and the quarry is nice and all. It's kind of satisfying to clear land out in that way. But at least here, when I'm digging, it kind of has a purpose. Like I know I'm going to turn it into something. So I don't mind it if it takes a long time to do. I really don't. I am awfully tempted to just clear out enough space for this one pillar, like one of these pillars, just to see how it would look, because it's mostly conceptual. That'd be a lot of clearing to do. I don't know how much I would actually have to dig out. Probably a lot. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. I gotta make some ladders then. I'll go the extra mile and clear out 2 blocks in every direction from it, only because I want to be able to see it, you know? So let's do that. I don't even know how tall this is going to be. I'm just going to go up as much as I think I should. I had another idea for a spooky film a while ago. I guess I wasn't planning on sharing it, but I might as well, you know? It's partly inspired by a thought experiment. There was, I think it was on the Eric Andre show, okay? He had on Dominic Monaghan, I don't know how you say that, the guy who played Merry in Lord of the Rings, and he was in Lost, and I think he was in Star Wars for some reason. Anyway, he's talking to Eric Andre, and I'm pretty sure most of the context is cut out of the conversation. I don't even know if this was Eric Andre. I think Eric asks him, what do you think happens when we die, right? And he says that science shows chemicals flood our brain, and it allows us to see things that comfort us, like family members or going to heaven or, you know, whatever. Maybe you see someone that you once loved who had passed away, that kind of thing. And I don't really know where he got any of that, but let's just roll with it. And he says it's supposed to last a long time. No, I think maybe some of it's science, maybe some of it is his wishful thinking. At the same time, it's an interesting thought. He said that it's like an endless dream. It'll seem like it's endless to the people experiencing, to the people dying. You know, it's kind of a comforting thought. If you're going to pass away, you can kind of like dream for the last moments of your life and it'll feel like it's forever. You better hope it's a good one. I'm like, what about some guy who is so unhealthily obsessed with Minecraft, old Minecraft especially, that when he died, he dreamt that he was put in it. You know, he dreamt that he was put into this infinitely long dream where he was just an alpha, right? I was thinking about that and what that would be like to be stuck in this version of the game. No outside contact, no nothing, just alpha Minecraft. Of course, that kind of forces the dream to stay consistent. So I thought about like a film of you're seeing this guy and it's kind of a non-linear storytelling. You're seeing what he builds in his world, maybe the beginning of his build, maybe the end of his build. He acts strange, sees strange, dreamlike things that would be hard to capture, but I think it would be easier in older versions than newer versions to kind of give the feeling of a dream. And over the course of the film, you might learn that this guy, maybe he doesn't like being here, or he's saying like, I'm dreaming, I can't wake up, and it's just like, oh, he's just being deep. But he literally is dreaming. He literally can't wake up because he's dying. And then the film ends with him dying in real life and like the world fading out until it's nothing. Kind of like, it's a comparison I just thought of, but like Everywhere at the End of Time. I did listen to that whole album once, it was pretty sad. It would be really short. I think it wouldn't be very long at all. But yeah, you would just find out over the course of the thing that this is a dream this guy is having. But it's not just a dream like, it was all a dream. Whoa. Not that. It would be that this is a dream this guy can't wake out of, and it's a dream very much affected by the real world. It would be like a guy stuck in a dream. I guess Inception kind of does that, but it wouldn't be like Inception. I don't know. Anyway, it was just an idea. It was such a loose concept. I wanted to have a lot of cool dream-like sequences and really bizarre things happening in it. There's stuff that I had been inspired by some old, like really old Minecraft videos that no one ever watched when they were uploaded, like in 2010, 2011. That were just really weird. Cool. So I thought it was a good idea, you know. I wish I had the wherewithal and the drive and the ability to make these ideas happen. The last beta player was relatively easy because I was like, I don't want there to be crazy effects. Nowadays, I have the ability to make these effects happen, and yet I have less motivation than before, which is kind of sad. You know, one day, that's another thing I'm gonna have to ask you guys what you think about. It's a good idea. Am I quote-unquote cooking? Or does that sound stupid? Probably everything I talk about sounds stupid before you can actually see it. So keep that in mind. Or maybe I'm just trying to preemptively defend my creative vision. Who knows, really? Alright, I'm just going to keep digging this out. It's going to take a minute. Okay, I just finished building this pillar. It's actually a slightly modified pillar design that I've used before in an old project in my beta world that I never ended up finishing. So I'm kind of curious how this is going to look. I already think it's pretty cool. Hold on, let's get to the bottom here. I just realized it's going to be kind of impossible to tell what this looks like. Oh man, yeah, you can't even really tell what this is, can you? It's just, there's no viewing distance. Oh, that's a shame. Look, in the interest of saving myself editing time, this is the photo that I used. So I dug this pillar out in my beta 1.7.3 world like a year or two ago. And then I went back and I took the screenshot. I originally had dug it out of the ground, and then any blocks that weren't stone I just replaced with cobble. I think it looks pretty cool, but I wondered how would this look if it was logs and wood. So the center part here would be a 3x3 pillar of logs, and then it would be wrapped. All this extra detailing, this trim would be planks. So that's kind of the idea that I did, and then I changed the bottom and the top up a little bit for this design here. But you would know what it looked like a little bit better if you could actually see it. At least it kind of gives me an idea of what the height is supposed to be, but it seems like I did dig this to about where I need to be digging it to. So I guess, I don't know, do I spend more time digging this out? I need to, but also I have loads and loads of cobblestone, so I should probably make some trips to the tree farm. I wonder how much this costs to make. I don't think it costs too much, maybe like 3 stacks of logs to make this one pillar. It's not too bad, I guess. Tell you what, I will dig a trench out this way or something in the hopes that I could see it. But yeah, if I dig it out that wall way further, maybe this will be a lot more visible. Who knows, really? But yeah, I'd say it needs to be maybe this tall, or this tall just in case, because I need to have a roof and things. It was very close. This is a pretty good estimate of how... Oh no! Oh man, dang it. Well, since I'm in this area, let's talk about this spot a little bit. This is going to be the center of the world garden, and I'm having trouble figuring out how I want this whole thing to be organized. I like these big arches. I think the giant arches, the real thickness of them is pretty cool. I started making small arches to build the walls here as just decoration, and then I decided I didn't like where they were, so I started moving this one over a little bit. But it's just confusing. I guess I don't know. I think I have ideas on what I need to be doing with it, but then I am kind of bouncing between a lot of projects because I run out of stone, I have to go get more stone, and etc. And then I run over here to drop the stone off, and I get more logs, and I run it back. It's a really interesting symbiotic relationship, but because of that, I haven't... Oops. I kind of forget like what I want to do with this whole thing. I have an idea in my head somewhere, just have to remember it. I need a lot of gold for this centerpiece, that's for sure. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. I wanted this to be a very large area, like a giant rectangle, but maybe it shouldn't be. You know, if I go, and it's going to be hard, you can't really get a good view of it. Let me go up in the hill, actually. Okay, yeah, hopefully maybe you can see it better from here. So I laid this out in the shape of a cross, right? I did this by making a large circle, you can see, and then smaller circles, which are kind of hard to tell apart from the gravel and the cobble and whatever. There's a small circle, there's a small circle, there's a small circle there hidden by the tree, and then there's a small circle, and there's a small circle. So it's in the shape of a cross. Now, cathedrals, traditionally and unsurprisingly, are usually laid out in the shape of a cross. The floor plan, at least, to some extent. So I could turn this into the interior of a cathedral rather than a large open garden area. I mean, that could be something interesting. But I would keep this nature stuff. I've been growing these trees to have some foliage in here because you can't move leaf blocks around them. You have to grow them into the place that you want. So I wanted to have bushes and things. But imagine instead of this being a large rectangle, there's close walls that follow the shape of the gravel and stuff. And there's grass that runs along the sides of the gravel, and leaves and vines and things. And there's just walls there, thick walls, maybe even with little statues. That'd be neat. And then it would be kind of an interior, and it would fit maybe a lot better. That's really some food for thought. I haven't thought of it like that. I hope I remember that idea. I hope I remember it. Over there you can see the whatever that's supposed to be from here. I have an idea. Okay, this is a separate thing. I have an idea for a pretty like Halloween, spooky themed build, but it's also a massive undertaking, and it's also a massive underground structure, so I would need to dig some stuff out. I want it to be in the center of the world, so where the future city is going to be. You know, I haven't even started really on the city. I mean, I have that thing. That's the only permanent structure that's part of this city yet. It's just that thing over there. I want to finish most of this external stuff before I start building the city, because I would like to stay organized and not just have a lot of projects at once. But I just built that for fun. I actually built that partly because of Voimma, because of the bears in the game. I was just inspired to make bears, and I ended up making a bear museum. I think this structure in particular was partly a suggestion by a commenter, saying like, what if you did other types of bears? Because I originally just built like a grizzly bear. Like, what if you could do a polar bear, you could do a black bear, panda bear, da 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 da. You could do all kinds of bear types. And I did do that, and I put them in a museum. Yep. Oh yeah, we have a lot of plans here. That's for sure. Well, anyway, I've been mining for a little bit. I don't know, this is taking a long time. You can kind of see it though now. Hold on. Let's get up here. You can kind of see it. Well, anyway, normally I would have done it the whole way, but I finally thought of a scary story to tell. Oh yeah, I want to mention, I don't have a water bucket anymore. So I made a few trips back to the tree farm to just haul a bunch of cobblestone because I had a massive amount. And when I came back through the painting museum. And the painting museum, you know, you have to walk through the whole thing to get to the bottom, and I was just like, I'll just break through the floor and then go through to the front that way. And I had a full inventory. Okay, I had a full inventory because I had gone up to get in the boat, and the boat was missing, and there's no way to put a boat in. And I was like, all right, I'll just go the other way around. So I went back down, and I broke through the floor. And I knew that if I had broken through the floor, I had to replace it, of course. And I didn't have a spot, so I tossed my water bucket on the ground and then picked up the wool block and then put it back. And then the water bucket was just gone. And that has never happened to me. Like an item just disappearing like that, it is literally, I don't know, just kind of odd. So I don't have that anymore. It's a shame. So, let me get my thoughts together here. I guess I really do kind of need to see. Should I go in there and look at it? I wanted this, like I talked about, I wanted it to be like a 3x3 log pillar. And then it's wrapped in planks as trim. But then at the ends, I wanted the logs to kind of expand a little bit to kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it's not enough. Well, anyway. All right, well, I guess I should probably start talking about this story. Oh, cool, it's a dungeon. You know, hopefully the spawner is in a good spot because you can't obtain them. They make kind of cool building blocks. So it's probably not, though. It's probably not. If I have to put all the pillars right here. Anyway. Okay, let's see if we can get some, what the heck? There's no netherrack in alpha that was in the next update. There's no nether. Alright. Oh wait, I don't have any. Hold on. There we go. Gotta be careful holding this, I don't want to burn down the painting museum. Around there is where I lost the water bucket. By the way, right by the entrance. Okay. Wait, oh, okay, I'm leaving. We're leaving. What? Okay. Seems strangely familiar. What the heck? Alright, no. You know what? No, we're mining out. We're getting out of here. Wait, you're kidding me. You're kidding me.